Hey y'all, I'm Jess, and we're in my garden here at Roots and Refuge Farm. But that's not what channel you're on, so I want to welcome you to the house on Avery Road, where today my friend Mark is going to be showing us how to can ground cherry jam. I'm knelt down here next to one of the many ground cherry plants in my garden. This is one of my favorite things to grow. These little cousins of tomatillos are so tasty, they're so good. Fruitier than a cherry tomato, just one of my favorite things to grow in the garden for sure. However, I have to be honest, we've never actually had that many make it out of the garden. I have to kind of like hide the plants from my kids or else they strip them bare. So I'm super excited to learn from Mark today. I'm going to be doing my best to gather up enough of these to be able to make some jam as well. So let's go check this out.
All right, well, thanks, Jess. Thanks so much. I had messaged Jess a little bit ago and asked her if she would do the intro for this video because Jess was the one that introduced me to ground cherries. So you've just heard a little bit about ground cherries. So what I've done, I've taken these out of their husks and I've got them in this bowl. Now this is 7 cups of ground cherries, and I'm going to throw in 1 cup of water, or no, a half cup of water. Sorry about that. Half cup of water, 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. And this is 1 box of pectin, 49 grams, and this is the low sugar pectin. So we're gonna put that in and bring it over here to the stove, and I'm gonna use this potato masher, turn it on, and we're gonna mash up these ground cherries. So turn that on, and this is gonna take a little bit, so I'll bring y'all back once this comes up. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to break up these ground cherries just like this and bring this up. Now once this comes up to a boil, I'm going to put in our sugar, and we'll show y'all that when it's time. Okay, I got the boat motor, the immersion blender. They're really hard to break up like that. I should have put them in the food processor. Food processor would have probably done real quick work of this job. But since we're making jam, we're just going to use the immersion blender. So I'm just going to blend them up a little bit. Yes, perfect. Okay, and they're going to boil. Okay, so that's good there. I'm going to put this back on the heat and bring it up to a boil and add the sugar. Right here I've got 5 cups of sugar. Oh, that's gorgeous. Y'all, I've made jam, but I've never made ground cherry jam. So we're going to see how this is. And y'all are following along. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring this up to a boil. It's got the lemon juice and the pectin. Once it starts bubbling real good and I can't stir it down, I'm going to add in this sugar. And then once the sugar's in, we're going to bring it back up to a boil and boil it for 1 minute or up to 2 minutes. Now right here, I've got my jars in the water bath canner because we're going to be canning this. Alright, it's up to a boil, so I'm going to add the sugar. 5 cups of sugar. Now, if we hadn't been using low sugar pectin, we'd have had to put in 6 or 7 cups of sugar. So, what I'm going to do is sit here and stir this constantly until it comes back up to a boil, and then we're going to let it boil for 1 minute. Alright, come over here and look in here. This is a bowl that cannot be stirred down. And I just started my timer for 1 minute and 10 seconds. I just threw in the 10 seconds because why not, you know? Why not? Y'all, I tell you, I used to never eat much jam until I started making homemade jam with fresh fruit. It makes all the difference in the world to me. And I'm fixing to show you a little secret ingredient that I put in all my fruit jam. And that is, once I take it off this stove here in just a couple of seconds, once I take it off the stove, I'm going to throw in about a teaspoon of vanilla extract. And that's just going to lend something awesome to any fruit that you're doing. So we're ready to can this. So let's take this off. Let me get a space over here because I'm going to put this hot jam over here and then we're going to ladle it into jars. Alright, and y'all, the reason I'm waiting until I pull it off the heat is because a boiling sugary stuff like this will actually cook off the flavor of the vanilla. And I don't want that to happen, so I just add it now so it'll have that great flavor. Smells out of this world. Now, let me get me some jars. And I hope we pulled out enough jars. Might not have. If not, I've got more. Y'all, I tell you, there's something therapeutic about canning. And I think anybody that cans will tell you the exact same thing. There's just something about it it's so old school. And to learn the art of canning, I just absolutely love it. It's a skill that I have. And now Wayne has, because Wayne's been learning to can along with me. So we're going to fill these to an inch headspace, which will be right about there. And once I get all these done, I'll wipe the rims and put on the lids. But I love canning. The tomatoes have been coming in and I've done the salsa. Y'all saw that. I'm going to bring y'all along for at least one tomato canning session, so y'all can see that. I love it. It's very relaxing to me to come home from work at night and be able to get in the kitchen and can and preserve the harvest. Love it. Me and Zach and Jen Stivers was talking about that the other day. And I will need more jars, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to chill it with this. I'm going to go ahead and get some more jars, at least 3 or 4 more jars, and go ahead and get them in this canner so they can be coming up to temperature. We'll see y'all back in a minute. Okay, so I've got hot jars. I just wiped the rims. I've got the lids. They're hot here in this water. Now, it's, I think the rules say that you haven't got to do this anymore, but like I told you the other day, I've always done it, and I guess I always will. So, we're putting these on the jars, and I'm going to drop these down in that water bath canner. Those jars should be ready in just a couple of minutes to get filled. These are hot. Fingertip tight. You don't want to wrench them down. I don't know why you don't want to wrench them down. I just know that that's what everybody says. So, that's what I do. We're fixing to look at the color of that. Y'all see that color? That's gorgeous. I can't wait to taste it. Pop these in. Get those other jars out. And get those filled. Hey, fill some more. Hopefully 3 will do it. Okay, so this one's not going to be full enough. So what we'll do is let it cool, and we'll put it in the refrigerator. And this is what we'll be able to eat on for the next few days. so I'm not going to worry about sealing that one, but I am going to get my paper towel back, a little bit of hot water. And around these limbs. 1 inch headspace. Y'all, I implore you, if you've never canned anything, you know something? Try your hand at a jam. If you don't have anything growing, you know something? Go to the store. Find a fruit that's fresh in season. If you want to do organic, hey, go for organic. If you don't want to do organic, just find a nice fruit that's in season at the store and try your hand at canning. I think you're going to love it. And the satisfaction you get from knowing that you've done that is amazing. So from this batch, ground cherries, we will have gotten, let's count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 half pints. And now you've got to have at least 1 inch of water over the jar. So what I do, I take anything like a wooden spoon or something, and I just poke it down in there and make sure that I've got 1 inch above the jars. So I'm gonna cut this back on high, which it is, and I'm gonna put a lid on it. And now I am above 1,000 feet, so these have got to process. Typically, if you're at normal altitude, less than 1,000 feet, you process for 15 minutes. I'm gonna double check and make sure, but I'm almost positive I've got to process for 20 minutes. So once this comes to a rolling boil, I'll start my timer for 20 minutes, and then we'll show you what to do to let them cool off and take them out. All right, timer just went off, so I'm gonna turn this off and let this sit here. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna let it sit here for about 10 to 15 minutes and come down a little bit naturally. What that's gonna do is give the jars time to acclimate to a slow cool. So once it cools down, we'll come back and we'll show you. All right, now this is cooled down for about, what? What was that? This is cooled down for about 15 to 20 minutes. So I'm gonna take the lid off of it. And I'm gonna take these out and I'm gonna put them here on this dish rag. And I'm just gonna let them sit until tomorrow. And once I take these out, they're gonna start popping. Start popping, it's gonna be lovely. Now y'all, I wanted to talk to y'all a little bit about ground cherries this year. I was not prepared for the ground cherries this season. I mean, I planted them, but I wasn't prepared for them. The ground cherry bushes grew, okay, first off, they were slow to start. The seedlings were tiny, forever and a day. And I said, these aren't gonna do anything. Well, then all of a sudden, they just started growing. And they grew, that's music to my ears. They grew and they grew and they grew. They grew into the shortest, stoutest bushes. Now these are, what is it, Aunt Molly's ground cherries. The bushes were stout, strong. The bases of them were this big around. Y'all, I was not prepared for the sheer amount of ground cherries that was going to come off. We've eaten them fresh. And eat them fresh. There's some that have honestly rotted out there because we didn't get to them. So next year, I will be more prepared for the ground cherries as far as knowing what they're going to do. But this jam is delicious, and we're fixing to taste it for you too. And this will set up and be absolutely amazing. Ooh, hear that? Ting, 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 ting. Love that sound. Okay, let me get this jar of jam out of here and we're going to taste it for you. All right, now this is the jar that we just put in the refrigerator. The color is amazing. So we're going to taste it. In a little spoon. It's got a wonderful jam consistency. See, lovely. Y'all, ground cherries are sweet, but they do have a tartness. This is stunning. So good on a biscuit. So good on a biscuit. So thank y'all for tuning in tonight. Thank you for watching. Give the video a thumbs up. Leave a comment in the comment box. Subscribe to the channel. Subscribing is free. So subscribe. And then ring the bell so you'll get notified every time that we put up a video. And y'all, when that little bell goes off, ding, 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 watch the video. Give it a watch. Please. Talk to y'all later. Bye, y'all. Okay, so I got my hot jars. I just wiped the rims of them. And I've got a magnet here. And cut, retry.